From Washington, this is VOA News. Ukraine's new prime minister says Yanukovych plundered the treasury, and the U.S. accuses other nations of human rights violations. I'm David Byrd reporting from Washington. Ukraine's new prime minister, Arseniy Yatsenyuk, is accusing the government of ousted President Viktor Yanukovych of stealing billions of dollars from the state treasury. Parliament approved Mr. Yatsenyuk, a popular opposition leader, as the head of the new interim government on Thursday. He said that $70 billion in Ukrainian government money had been sent to offshore accounts in the past 3 years. $37 billion worth of credit it has received has disappeared as well, leaving Ukraine with severe financial problems. Yatsenyuk is a pro-Western former foreign minister and economy minister. One of his first major jobs is preventing the country's economy from collapsing. Earlier, Russia sent fighter jets to patrol its border with Ukraine. Gunmen also seized control of government buildings in Crimea, a Ukrainian region with strong ties to Moscow and home to the Russian naval base at Sevastopol. Acting Ukrainian President Alexander Turchinov said that any movement of Russian forces outside the base would be considered a military aggression. Here in Washington, White House spokesman Jay Carney called on Russia to respect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and to avoid what he called provocative actions.
We strongly support Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. We expect other nations to do the same.
Earlier Friday, U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel warned Moscow not to take any action on Ukraine that could be misinterpreted. For more on this story, please visit our website, www.voanews.com. The United States is downplaying North Korea's launch of 4 short-range missiles off its east coast. Pentagon spokesman Colonel Steve Warren Thursday confirmed reports of North Korean missile tests, but said the U.S. military does not consider the launch a provocative action.
We've seen these type of missile tests fairly regularly. It's a short-range Scud missile, which they are allowed to test. Nevertheless, we always call on the Koreans to refrain from provocative action.
It is not uncommon for North Korea to test-fire short-range missiles. Such tests are believed to partly serve as political messages to the South. The United States is alleging that countries across the globe are engaging in widespread human rights violations. Secretary of State John Kerry said Thursday that many governments are routinely denying their people the right to free expression and to protest abusive action by their leaders.
And so with this year's report, we join with many other nations in reaffirming our commitment to a world where speaking one's mind does not lead to prosecution, and where professing one's love does not lead to persecution.
Kerry spoke as the State Department released its annual global look at human rights throughout the world. He acknowledged that American history on human rights is not perfect, but said that no country is more committed to human rights than the United States. A second member of the so-called Cuban Five spy ring has been released from a U.S. prison after being jailed for more than 15 years. Officials say 50-year-old Fernando Gonzalez completed his sentence Thursday at a prison in Arizona. Gonzalez was turned over immediately to immigration officials to be deported to Cuba. Gonzalez and 4 other men were convicted in 2001 on charges including conspiracy and spying. The head of the U.S. Central Bank says that recent foul weather could be the reason for some signs that economic growth is slowing. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen spoke to a key Senate committee on Thursday. She said Fed officials will watch new economic data closely as they decide how quickly they should reduce efforts to stimulate the economy.
My colleagues on the FOMC and I anticipate that economic activity and employment will expand at a moderate pace this year and next.
Another economic report published Thursday showed the number of Americans signing up for unemployment assistance rose 14,000 to a nationwide total of 348,000. On Wall Street, the markets were up, with the S&P 500 finishing up to a record close. For more, visit our website. I'm David Byrd in Washington.